Welcome to the stream, game week 25. So it's a Friday deadline. Make sure to lock in your team tomorrow. Don't wait until Saturday, will be too late. So Friday night deadline. And we have some information about a double game week in game week 26, blank game week 31 as well. So my advice would be to actually save a transfer this game week and have transfers heading into double game week 26. At the moment, I actually have a triple up on Arsenal already. I have Mosquera in ready for game week, double game week 26. Hopefully he will not pick up a yellow card because he will be banned for game week, double game week 26. So my team looks ready. Hopefully I can just play this team. It looks good on paper. The captaincy is currently on Jared Bowen, but please go vote in the captain poll to let me know what do you think is the best captain option for game week 25. So my team at the moment is Sanchez in goal playing against Wolves. Van Hecke, he will start. I have Mosquera, as mentioned, playing against Chelsea, but he will stay on the bench. I have Van de Ven playing against Man United. I don't really want Van de Ven playing against Bruno Fernandes, so he is on the bench as well. He's yellow flagged as well. He might not play in game week 25. So I actually have a really good player on my bench for game week 25, Elliot Anderson. He has done well recently, but I can't really see who I will bench in this starting 11 to make room for Elliot Anderson. So defense with Van Hecke, double up with Gabriel and Timber, and Enzo Fernandez, Rice, Morgan Rogers, Bruno Fernandes. He is actually my vice captain at the moment. Up front, Erling Haaland, Thiago, and Jared Bowen. Thiago, he is actually one of the most transferred out players ahead of game week 25. Playing against Newcastle, I don't have any Newcastle players, so I'm hoping that Brentford can do well in this fixture. Erling Haaland, I don't really consider Erling Haaland as a solid captain option this game week. Of course, it's Erling Haaland, but Liverpool, they are actually one of the teams with the best defensive stats, so I will definitely go for a punt this game week. So currently the captaincy is on Jared Bowen. As mentioned, please let me know in the poll who will be your captain for game week 25. First vote goes to Erling Haaland, 50% other. So please let me know in the comments who will be your captain if you vote for other. Can't really vote in the poll myself. Let's see if it's possible. No, it's not. If you want to have a team review, head over to X, post a picture under my latest post of your team selection, and let's have a look. So on the screen, it's my team for game week 25. I'm actually pretty satisfied with this team. Looking to save a transfer heading into game week 25. Captaincy is currently on Jared Bowen. Evening all currently, I have the captaincy on Ekitiki. It might actually be a good idea. He has looked good recently. Not the best fixture, of course, playing against Man City, but it's at Anfield. They haven't been that solid recently, so going Ekitiki might be a solid option as well. I have seen that Virtsi is actually one of the most popular transfers ahead of Game Week 25. They have some good fixtures coming up, so I definitely think that, especially if you have decided on a cheap strategy and if you're going to dead end your team going into Game Week 31, I think that Liverpool players could be really good options. I might actually consider to bring in Liverpool assets myself from Game Week 27 and onwards. A bit tempted by Crystal Palace as well. Two really good fixtures for them coming up, Game Week 26, Game Week 27. But at the moment, I will most probably just roll my transfer and reassess ahead of double Game Week 26. I think it might be a really good idea to have a couple of transfers heading into Game Week 26 as well. Football and stuff, sorry I'm late, no worries. Thanks for joining in. FPL FOMO used one transfer on Saka to Mbumo, just hoping Watkins will be fit to start. I haven't really seen any concrete news about Watkins. He's still yellow flagged, right? I definitely think that if he is fit enough to start, he will probably do so. Hopefully Watkins will be fine. Ryan, are you going to use the triple captain in Game Week 26 or hold it for later double? Actually, I'm leaning towards using my triple captain in Game Week 26. The thing is that we will have a couple of other double game weeks. Game Week 36 might be a good game week for the triple captain. The thing is that the league might actually be close to being over in Game Week 36. So I think that in Game Week 26, every team has all to play for. So I think that Game Week 26 actually might be the best game week for the triple captain. I haven't really decided which player I will give the triple captaincy to at the moment. It's between Gabriel and Rice. I will have a closer look at an updated schedule when it comes to blanks and doubles and my chip strategy, but at the moment it looks like I will play my triple captain in Game Week 26 and use my free transfers heading into blank Game Week 31, wildcard Game Week 32, and then bench boost in Game Week 33. So at the moment, at least, this is what I'm leaning towards. I will have a bit more of information. I will make a video on it as well. So if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that one. Hoping to have 4 free transfers in Game Week 26. Yeah, that would be nice. We will definitely have more information ahead of Game Week 26. So this is one of the reasons why I'm really keen to save my transfer this game week to at least have 2 free transfers heading into double Game Week 26. So we haven't known for a couple of game weeks that Arsenal and Wolves, they most probably would have a double game week in Game Week 26. So at the moment, I'm actually tripled up on Arsenal. I have brought in Wolves defender as well. So at the moment, I'm actually pretty well set up for a double game week 26. If I tell you my team, can you tell me who to start? Definitely. At least I will give you my advice. Ultimately, of course, it's your decision, but if you have like a 50-50 decision or a benching headache, I can definitely do my best to help out. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, of course, you can just write your team in the chat. And you can, of course, also head over to X, post a picture under my latest posts, and we'll get your team up on the screen as well. So if you're interested in having your team reviewed, head over to X, post a picture under this post, the live Game Week 25 Q&A, and we'll have a look. But of course, it's possible to just write in the comments as football and stuff has done. My team is Sanchez, Verbruggen, Timber, Van Hecke, Thiav, Senesi, Anderson. So strong defense, Rice, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, Kevin Schade. He's in good for game with 27 and onwards, so want to hold him. Garner is in as well, Jared Bowen, Igor Thiago, and Erling Haaland. So strong team. This is like close to being a bench boost team, but I think that the bench boost possibly will be a bit more successful in a double game week. But Sandri, thanks for joining in. Hi, how are you? All good. How about you? Hey bro, this is my team. Can you check for me? Do I need to wildcard? We'll definitely have a look. By the way, who would you rather sell for, O'Reilly or is? So let's have a look at football and stuff's team. Sanchez, Verbruggen. So in game week 25, I'm starting Sanchez. I think Wolves away is a good fixture for Chelsea. So Wolves, they have been good defensively, but they haven't been that attacking. So hopefully Chelsea can do well in this fixture. Brighton, they have a decent fixture as well, playing at home against Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace, they haven't really been that great recently. So it's a tough decision, to be honest, but probably going differential with Verbruggen, benching Sanchez. I would definitely start Timber. The thing is that I think Timber, considering the comments from Arteta on the press conference, I think that Timber, he will either play and start and play or not play at all. So start Timber as well. And then it's between... So if you start Verbruggen, you can potentially bench Van Hecke, Thiav, Senesi. I think seeing that you have Igor Thiago as your forward, Thiav, he can be benched. Senesi, Anderson. Senesi at home against Aston Villa. Anderson, he is playing at home against Everton. So Anderson, he can potentially start. I think when I have taken a close look at the fixtures, I think I actually would start Sanchez, Van Hecke, Anderson with this team. So Timber, Anderson, Van Hecke with Sanchez in goal. Rice, he should start. Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes should start as well. So Schade, he can potentially be benched. Jared Bowen, I would definitely start him against Burnley. Igor Thiago nailed on penalties for Brentford, and Erling Haaland. Of course, he hasn't really delivered recently, but he will most probably start. He was rested in the EFL Cup, so Erling Haaland, even though the fixture is tough, I think that Erling Haaland definitely should start. So let me know who are you considering to captain in this team. There are a couple of options. You have Jared Bowen, and he is currently my captain. So we had a couple of team ideas. Let's check them. Let's see, 52 points. This is Mish Penn's team. Is this the right one? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's 6172. 756. So a red arrow, overall rank 476k, 52 points, red arrow in game week 24. Let's just get this a bit more centered. Like this. So a bit unlucky in defense starting Dubravka. I did actually start Dubravka myself, but seeing that you have Petrovic on the bench, this is really, really unlucky. Shalba 3 points, Collins 1, Van Hecke 2, Elliot Anderson. I actually had Anderson on my bench. A bit frustrating. I have actually benched Elliot Anderson for the last couple of game weeks. So Anderson 7 points, Enzo Fernandez with a late goal 8 points, Rice, Mbumo, Blanks, Erling Haaland, captain, Thiago, and at least you had Ekitike. So if you actually started Petrovic, this could have been a really good game week, but at least your team looks in good shape. I would actually consider doing something with Bukayo Saka ahead of this game week. There are some strong rumors about Saka not playing. The fact that in game week 26, Arsenal, they will have a double. So having Saka, if you don't play, is a waste of an Arsenal spot. So I would actually consider selling Saka. There are some good options available. If you sell Saka, you can bring in actually a couple of other Arsenal assets as well. I would consider doing something like Saka and take a punt on Trossard or Madueke and then upgrade one of your defenders to Gabriel. Change Saka, got in Bruno Fernandes already. Yeah, good move, good move. FPL Odysseys, hello brother, hello, thanks for joining in. Who do you think starts, Keane or Lewis Hall? So who you should start for your team, who I think will start. So I would definitely bench Keane if you have Wilson. I would bench Hall if you have Igor Thiago, if that helps. Try to avoid having your defenders play against your forwards. I think probably both of them will start. So let's have a look at Sandry's team and the mini league. Let's see, 11, 30. 26. So this is Sanders' team. A solid game week, 68 points. Double up on Arsenal defense with Raya and Timber. Let's see if we can get this a bit bigger. Like that. So Raya, Timber, Mukiele. Was a bit frustrating watching that game. I only had Dubravka, so seeing that Mukiele did well was a bit frustrating considering his ownership. O'Reilly, a bit disappointing, of course, 1 point. Harry Wilson, Elliot Anderson, another team with Elliot Anderson in their starting 11. Bruno Fernandes, 10 points, and Rice, another with Erling Haaland, captain, for 5 points. Igor Thiago, and another one with Ekitike. So this team is actually a bit similar to Mish Pence's team. On the bench, Bruno Gimreich, Richards, and Anderson. So strong game week, 68 points. So it's a green arrow, even though Sandry took a hit in game week 24. So let's have a look at this mini league. So we had a look at this mini league ahead of every game week. Sandri still on top, 68 points, Arsenal FC 43, so a nice gap, 25 points gained in game week 24, so that's nice. So well done, Sandri, gaining 25 points on your biggest rival, Arsenal FC. For next game week, who do I start, as I brought Bruno and took Saka out? I think you should start Bruno Fernandes. The player I probably would bench is Schade in midfield and play a 3-4-3 potentially. Why not try and get one of the two, clean sheet or a goal from the same game? The thing is that, of course, you can go for 1 out of 2 returns, but essentially they will most probably cancel each other out. So I like to avoid having my attackers play against my defenders. And of course, Odysseus has a point. You can go for 1 out of 2, but I like to try to maximize the points. The thing is that if you have the more players you have in the same fixture, they will fight for the same bonus points as well. So I like to spread my players on more fixtures to potentially pick up more points. I will stay undefeated. I am the undisputed champion. Nice. Shada has a red card anyway. Did he get a red card in game week 24? I actually missed that. Let's have a quick look. Looks like Shada is available for selection. If Newcastle keep a clean sheet, then I lose it because Igor Thiago starts 100%. I definitely think that Igor Thiago should start. He is the talisman for Brentford at the moment and the first choice penalty taker. So I think it's a risk involved in benching Igor Thiago. He still has high ownership, even though he's one of the most transferred out players ahead of game week 25. So I just did Timber to Gabriel. So I know that Timber did not participate in the latest Arsenal training, but have we got the confirmation that Timber definitely will miss game week 25? He got a red card. Let's have a quick look. You're probably right. Maybe I was just using an old browser. Let's have a quick look. you're definitely right. Suspended until the 21st of February. -2 points in game week 24 for Kevin Schade. So makes the benching decision quite easy to have Schade on the bench. Sorry about that. I was actually a bit surprised. I checked Kevin Schade in an old browser. Haven't really refreshed that browser, and that was obviously why Kevin Schade did not have the red flag. Schade isn't available. You're definitely right. DM McDonald, I took a -4 this week. Igor Thiago and Watkins out. Joao Pedro and Ekitike in. Might be really good transfers. Joao Pedro, he has looked great recently. I was a bit surprised watching the last Chelsea game, seeing that Delap actually played on the right. So Joao Pedro, really good option. Same goes for Ekitike. Of course, not the best fixture playing against Man City this game week, but Liverpool, they have some good fixtures coming up. So Igor Thiago, Watkins to Joao Pedro and Ekitike is probably a decent upgrade. Hi, from MK, my team is Raya, Dubravka, Gabriel, Tarkovsky, Shalba, Van Dijk, Gudmundsson, Bruno, King, Rogers, Rice, and so Thiago, Ekitike, and Holland. So this team, you probably will definitely bench Gudmundsson. The thing is that Leeds, they are actually one of the favorites to keep a clean sheet this game week. King can easily be benched, of course. So top 3 clean sheets, predicted clean sheets according to the bookies. Arsenal, they are favorites. Fulham, Chelsea. And after this, it's actually Leeds with 36, same as Chelsea. So with this team, I would start Raya and Gabriel. Dubravka on the bench. I think I would actually start Van Dijk for the DEFCON potential attacking threat. Home game. And Liverpool, they are actually one of the best defensive teams recently. So for me, it's between Chalobah, Tarkovsky. Probably I would start Chalobah. Really strong defense with Gabriel, Chalobah, and Van Dijk. Tarkovsky, first bench, Gudmundsson, and then I would have King last on my bench. Captain, with this team, probably Bruno Fernandes at home against Spurs. At least he is my wise captain at the moment. I actually really considering to take a punt this game week with the captaincy, going for Jared Bowen playing against Burnley. But the thing is that in game week 1, I was actually captaining Jared Bowen against Sunderland for his blank. So that was a bit frustrating, but hopefully Jared Bowen can deliver in game week 25. DM McDonald, my team this game week: Dubravka, Timber, Cash, Gabriel, Shalba, Rice, Semenyo, Rogers, Ekitike, Captain, Nice, Erling Haaland, and Joao Pedro. Substitutes: Jordan Pickford, Bruno Guimaraes, Anton Stach, and Mukiele. A really solid team. I think Anton Stach, he is confirmed to miss game week 25 as well, so can easily be benched. Same goes for Mukiele, Bruno Guimaraes. Really strong team. Have you made any transfers? Took a -4. Igor Thiago, Watkins to Joao Pedro and Ekitike. Ekitike in, Joao Pedro in for a -4 and giving the captain's armband to Ekitike. So aggressive play from DM McDonald. Hopefully this will work out. Took a -4 for Rogers. I haven't really seen Rogers been discussed that much lately. I have had him. He has been a frustrating own, to be honest. So taking a -4 for Rogers, of course, might work out. He has actually been, compared to the first half of the season so far, he has actually been solid recently, at least when we take a look at expected goal involvement. I think it's a bit worrying with Rodgers is the fact that he has picked up 15 points 3 times this season. And this is like most of the points. That's 45 points in 3 game weeks from Rodgers. And other than this, he hasn't really been that great, but hopefully he can do something against Bournemouth in game week 25. I have heard that Timber will be benched. I haven't really seen that many predicted Arsenal lineups without Timber, but of course, Arteta, he said on the press conference that Timber did not participate in the last training session, so of course he can be benched or not play in game week 25. The thing is that I will probably just keep Timber and start him. I think that he will start or not play at all, so Gabriel, Timber, Rice, hopefully I can just use this trio in double game week 26. I have one free transfer. Should I do any transfers or roll? I think it's a really good idea to roll this game week because we know that game week 26 will be a double game week. So at least having a couple of transfers to have a strong team for the double in 26, I think this is a really good idea. So my plan is to save a transfer heading into game week 25 to have an extra transfer for double game week 26. I would have 100% started Stock tomorrow if he had been fit. Feel like I have to start Dubravka over Pickford. Might get save points, and Everton can't keep clean sheets just now. So we're starting Dubravka. Of course, in game week, was it game week 22 and game week 23? Dubravka looked really good. Did not impress against Sunderland in game week 25. I benched Dubravka for his back-to-back 5-pointers in 22 and 23. Took a punt, started Dubravka this game week in game week 24, but of course he blanked. So Everton playing against Fulham. Burnley playing against West Ham. At least it's at home. If you don't own Jared Bowen, it probably makes sense to start Dubravka. Considering to give the captain's armband to Jared Bowen, so I'm definitely hoping that West Ham will score. Sandri, I think Raya and Gabriel are sure to play every match, especially doubles. Yeah, so it's a good idea to actually have Raya at the moment. At least if you want a solid option for double game week 26. I have Timber in at the moment. I might actually, if Timber is out for game week 25, if he's not confirmed to be fit for double game week 25, I might actually do something like Timber to Saliba. Is Ekitike a hold or should I look to move him on soon? I think Ekitike is a solid option going forward. So he is definitely a hold unless you need the funds. I don't really think there are that many great forward options at the moment. So, of course, Joe Pedro is the most transferred in player ahead of game week 25. But if you have Ekitike, I definitely think that he is a hold. So DM McDonnell actually took a hit to bring in Ekitike this game week. So Watkins out, Ekitike in, and he's actually captaining Ekitike this game week. So MK, if you have Ekitike in your team, I agree with DM McDonnell. He is a solid option. The plan was to put the money in midfield with 2 free transfers. So a midfield of Bruno Fernandes, Rogers, Rice, Enzo. You can, of course, potentially go for a 3-5-2. Downgrading Ekitike, is this the right call? I think I probably would do something like Igor Thiago downgrade. And then upgrade King. There are some solid midfield options available, so I would probably do something like Igor Thiago out and upgrade King with the available funds. At least you have a solid triple up from Arsenal with Raya, Gabriel, and Rice. Probably the best and safest triple up on Arsenal at the moment. DM McDonald, I think there's going to be goals in the Liverpool City game on Sunday. Might be a good game to stock up on Liverpool and City attackers with Haaland, Semenyo, Ekitike, Viz, maybe Shirky. I would be a bit cautious with Shirky, but Haaland, of course, it's Haaland. Semenyo, solid option as well, especially considering that he cannot play in the Champions League. Ekitike, I think that he is a really good option together with Virt. So there might be goals in this game. I definitely agree. So having a couple of attacking assets from Man City and Liverpool in this fixture is probably a good idea. I will only have Erling Haaland. I will not captain him. At least at the moment, I'm leaning towards Jared Bowen with Bruno Fernandes vice captain. So in the captain poll, Bruno Fernandes, he is actually the leader at the moment, 61%. It's only 6% for Erling Haaland. I haven't really seen Erling Haaland this low. We take a look at the predicted anytime goal scorer odds in the graphic as well. Gyökeres, he is the favorite. Erling Haaland is only second. So 50% for Gyökeres, 42% for Erling Haaland. I can't really remember so far this season that the gap have been 8% between number one and down to Erling Haaland on second. So 50% goal scorer chance for Gyökeres, 42% for Erling Haaland. 11% have voted for Jared Bowen. It's probably because he has quite low ownership as well. I like the West Ham fixture for I like the fixture for West Ham this game week playing against Burnley, so hopefully Jared Bowen can continue delivering. I can't do Thiago to a cheap forward and King to Virit, so it's a bit too expensive. I think I would just, for gameweek 25, I think I would just play Thiago, play and keep Ekitike, save the transfer and have more information and an extra transfer heading into double game week 26. So we might get in injuries. So Gabriel, Rice, one of them might actually be injured, and it will be essential to remove them and replace them with another Arsenal asset. So if we can do this and avoid taking a hit, this can be a really good start to double game week 26. So if you don't really need to do any transfers in game week 25, my advice would be to just save your transfer. can get some graphics on the screen. I'm planning to roll this game week, also considering Igor Thiago captain. So if you think that Igor Thiago will do well this game week, you should definitely not sell him. I don't really see Ekitike as a player to sell, so you should definitely just roll your transfers. Newcastle chipping goals to strikers lately with Ekitike, Marmouche. So yeah, probably a good idea then to just roll a transfer. I like the punt. Igor Thiago, he is actually one of the most sold players this game week, so will be really typical FPL if he did well in game week 25. So I have started creating some graphics for my next video. At the moment, we take a look at the predicted schedule for game week 29 until game week 38. We will have a normal game week in game week 29, a normal game week in game week 30. So we know at this point that game week 31 will potentially be a blank game week with 4 teams. We know that Arsenal and Wolves, they will definitely blank. Man City and Crystal Palace, they can actually potentially have their game played earlier, but I think this fixture would need to be postponed. The thing is that Man City and Crystal Palace, Man City, if they are knocked out of Europe, they might play in game week 31, but I think Man City will advance in the Champions League, so it will most probably be a blank game week. Game week 32 will be a normal game week with European midweek games. Game week 33, as you can see, no European games between game week 33 and game week 34. This is why game week 33 most probably will be a double game week. It's not confirmed, but it really makes sense. So game week 33 will most probably be a double game week. The thing is that it can potentially be a big double game week as well. If we take a look at game week 34, it will be FA Cup semis. So if the teams playing in the FA Cup semifinals, if they play in Europe as well, they can't really play in game week 34, so their fixture will have to be moved. So most probably the game week 34 teams, if they are in the semifinal of the FA Cup, their fixture will be moved and played in game week 33. Game week 35 will be a normal game week. There are European games between game week 35 and game week 36. No European games between game week 36 and game week 37. So game week 36 might potentially be a double game week. The thing is that we will have the final in Europa League as well. So a lot actually has to happen for this to be a double game week. But Man City might be in it. There have been a lot of talk about a double game week 36, but it's not confirmed. In game week 37, we will have the FA Cup final, so potentially a small game week, especially if the FA Cup final teams are still in Europe, and this will most probably mean that they will have a double in game week 36. So as of now, all we know is that a double game week 26 is confirmed. Game week 31 is confirmed to be a blank. We know that Wolves and Arsenal will definitely blank. Man City, Crystal Palace will most probably blank. So those other doubles and blanks, it really depends on which teams goes to the next round of the FA Cup and how they do in Europe. So of course a lot might change, but when we consider that most of the English teams, they are favorites in their European fixtures. So unless we have any upsets in the 5th round of the FA Cup, game week 29 to game week 38 will look something like this. Asua, NGI, or Elliot Anderson, or Eva Nilsson, or Shalaba. One bench, I have Sanchez. Sanchez in goal. Double up on Chelsea against Wolves might actually be a good idea. NGI playing against Fulham. He's on penalties, so you might actually regret benching NGI. So you're going to bench one of NGI. Is it Elliot Anderson or the Fulham defender? I think I would bench Joachim Andersen. He is a bit overrated. I know that he has the potential to pick up defensive contributions, but he has been talked up quite a lot in the FPL community, but he's not in the list of the top scoring defenders in FPL so far this season. NGI is on penalties, as mentioned, for Everton. Evan Nilsson nailed on to start up front for Bournemouth. Shalaba, good fixture against Wolves. So even though you have Sanchez, it might be a good idea to double up on the Chelsea defense. Argyle might. I have Jared Bowen too. Can you convince me to captain him over Bruno too? So of course his ownership is quite low. He is a big differential. Burnley, they haven't looked great recently, especially against Sunderland. So I think that Jared Bowen, considering that he has done well recently, he looked good against Chelsea, even though the goal was, of course, a bit luck involved. So Jared Bowen, big punt, a differential. And this is the reason why I'm going for Jared Bowen captaincy. I think it's a really good game week to take a punt. Erling Haaland playing against Liverpool away. He will probably be the player with the highest effective ownership in game week 25 as well, but definitely a good game week to take a punt. Bruno Fernandes, I think he's a good option too, but I really like Jared Bowen playing against Burnley. Motivation fuels start 2, Gudmundsson, Evan Nilsson, and Senesi. The thing is, I have talked about Gudmundsson. Leeds, they are actually one of the favorites. They are in top 5 for expected clean sheets in game week 25. Evan Nilsson should probably start at home against Aston Villa. I think I will go for a double up on Bournemouth with both Evan Nilsson and Senesi, with Gudmundsson on the bench. Of course, it's a home game for Leeds. You will have a player participating on the Friday night football, but I think Evan Nilsson and Senesi probably should start. Jared Bowen on penalties too. Thing is that I think he's a really good option. I'm not sure if I mentioned the penalties, but after Paqueta left, I think that Jared Bowen is nailed on to take penalties for West Ham, especially when Wilson is not on the pitch and he hasn't gotten that many minutes recently. So Jared Bowen, definitely want to consider Tarkovsky or Anderson. playing against each other. The thing is that it's really close between them. Anderson playing at home, both of them can pick up defensive contributions. Tarkowski a bit better attacking threat. I think I actually would go for the most expensive player in this 50-50 decision. It's like if you have Joachim Andersen on the bench with a clean sheet, 6 points, it's really not that big of a deal. But if you bench Tarkowski and he does well on your bench and you have Joachim Andersen 1-pointer in your starting 11, you will most probably be a bit annoyed. Captain Enzo Fernandez or Gabriel, I would go for Enzo Fernandez. So if Cole Palmer is not on the pitch, Enzo Fernandez is first choice penalty taker for Chelsea. So a lot of routes to goals for Enzo Fernandez. He can pick up defensive contributions. Of course, Gabriel can too, but Enzo Fernandez would be my preferred captain option. The thing is, I don't think Senesi will get a clean sheet. Only 4 points maximum. Gudmundsson could get a clean sheet. So if you have a feeling, at least Leeds, they have better bookies odds for keeping a clean sheet. So if you have a feeling that Gudmundsson will do well, I think you definitely should go for him. Bigger differential as well. So and this will give you a player in the Friday night fixture. So if you think Leeds will do well against Nottingham Forest, bench Senesi and start Gudmundsson. I don't really think it's that much between them this game week. So if you have a feeling, as mentioned, that Gudmundsson will do well, you should definitely just go ahead and start him. Mentioned, I don't really think it's that much between them, and both budget options. If you get a Gudmundsson clean sheet on the bench, it's not the end of the world. Same goes for Senesi. So if you think that Bournemouth will concede, looks like you know about the defensive contribution potential for Senesi, but I kind of agree that if they concede a goal, his maximum points in game week 25 is probably 4 points. In Gudmundsson, he can actually easily outscore him this game week. Is it worth selling Rodgers to Elliot Anderson to upgrade Mukiele to Saliba? I think that bringing in an extra Arsenal player is a good idea. I would probably just hold and wait and see what happens in game week 25. Having that extra transfer ahead of double game week 26 with a bit more information is probably the play at the moment. So Rodgers, you can just play him this game week. Mukiele can stay on the bench, and you can potentially upgrade Mukiele to Saliba next week. The thing is that you might actually pick up an injury to one of your players, Senesi, Gudmundsson. One of them might get injured this game weekend. Then you will be really glad that you had a bit patience and saved your transfer. So bringing in an extra Arsenal player, yes. Is it really necessary this game week? I don't really think so. So save the transfer and make the move for Saliba next game week. Are you not tempted to do Fan to a good playing defender and then bench boost this game week? I haven't really considered bench boosting. I actually have a cheap strategy, and I will make a video on this with a bit updated information as well. But give me a minute and I'll put some graphics on the screen. So at the moment, I'm leaning towards this. I might actually use my triple captain in double game week 26. There will be a double in game week 33, a double in game week 36 as well. Of course, you can use your triple captain in one of those, but double game week 33 looks like this will be the biggest double game week this season, and I will most probably save my bench boost for double game week 33. The thing is that there will be blanks in game week 34 because of the FA Cup, and all of the teams still in the semi-final in the FA Cup in game week 34 will most probably have their fixtures moved back and be played in game week 33. So triple captain in double game week 26. Game week 27 to blank game week 31, I will just use my transfers. So I will have a solid team for game week 31. I will then use my wildcard in game week 32 to set up a nice bench boost for double game week 33. Free hits will be used on double game week 36, or I will potentially save the free hit for game week 37, which will also be a blank game week. The thing is that blank game week 37 is only a potential blank, because if the FA Cup final will be played in game week 37, so if the FA Cup finalist is still in Europe, this will be a blank. But if the FA Cup finalist is not participating in any European competition, game week 37 will be a normal game week. I've already used my wildcard, so I will have a different strategy. So what's your plan at the moment? Of course, it's possible to just use your transfers and set up a strong team for game week 34 as well. Things that will be a lot of popular FPL assets blanking in game week 31. Arsenal will blank, Wolves will blank, Man City, Crystal Palace will most probably have a blank in blank game week 31 as well. Motivation fields, rate my team, please. Last question. Sanchez, Ingol, Gabriel, Munoz, Gudmundsson, Rogers, Enzo Fernandez, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Vitz, and up front Evan Nilsson, Holland. A really strong team, and I like the inclusion of Munoz as well. So I don't really have that high expectations for Munoz this game week, but in game week 26 and game week 27, Crystal Palace, they have two really good home fixtures. So Munoz, definitely want to keep. Gudmundsson is in, Senesi is then on the bench. Really nice having a player. I have actually thought about possibilities for me to have Elliot Anderson in my starting 11, but I can't really see any way for me to start Elliot Anderson this game week. But I really like the team, looks good to go. Hopefully game week 25 will give you a green arrow. Football and stuff by Grossi. We discussed this ahead of game week 24 as well. Nice shout from Football and stuff saying that Pascal Gross was a really good punt ahead of game week 24. Turned out this was correct. He scored, did well. So definitely want to consider Pascal Gross. It's on some set pieces as well, right? potentially penalties if Welbeck is not on the pitch. So Pascal Gross definitely a punt, but my priority ahead of game week 25, I have said this a couple of times, my priority ahead of the next game week would be to actually save a transfer. So if your team looks all right, I think saving a transfer this game week makes sense. We know at this point that game week 26 will be a double game week, so my priority would be to have at least a triple up on Arsenal next game week. There are some uncertainties around a couple of the Arsenal players. Saka, not sure if he will play both games in double game week 26. Same goes for Saliba. I'm sorry, same goes for Timber, and I might actually do Timber to Saliba next game week. Pascal Gross, he used to be on penalties when Welbeck was on the pitch before he left. So, can potentially be first choice penalty taker. I have a feeling that, of course, you probably know more about Brighton than me, but I have a feeling that Welbeck probably is first choice. He scored the last one for Brighton, didn't he? I guess he gets them back. Welbeck's, he has 50% penalty conversion rate in the Premier League. 3 out of 6 scored. Yeah, I actually do remember that he has missed a couple of penalties as well, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he actually scored his last one. I might be wrong. Adam Chopin, rate my team, please. It's Dubravka, Guehi, Elliot Anderson, Shalaba, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Harry Wilson, Cole Palmer, Haaland, Joe Pedro. On the bench, Vicario, Maguire, Mukiele, and Mane. What do you think? I got one free transfer. I think this team looks good to go on paper. Dubravka starring with Guehi. It's not Elliot Anderson, of course, is the Fulham defender. Anderson. We have Shalaba in as well. Good fixture for Chelsea playing against Wolves. Semenyo, so it's a double up, actually a triple up with Erling Haaland, with Guehi, Semenyo, and Erling Haaland. Bruno Fernandes, Mbumo, Harry Wilson, Cole Palmer, Haaland, Joper. I think this team looks good. I have said a couple of times, if you only have one free transfer, I would definitely save with this team. It looks good to go, and having 2 free transfers ahead of double game week 26 might be precious. So my advice would probably be to just save the transfer. I brought Welbeck in on a wildcard 4 weeks ago. He's got 5 points in 4 games. Somehow I'm still 68k rank though. 68k, good rank. Welbeck, bit disappointing, of course. Could have been a really nice differential. He could potentially have been in top 10k if Welbeck did a bit better. Should I buy Timber today for Tiav or O'Reilly? I think I would wait on more news on Timber, to be honest. He did not participate in the latest Arsenal training session, so at the moment he is actually a risk ahead of game week 25. So I would definitely wait and see what happens in game week 25 before bringing Timber in. Many thanks. Always rate your opinion. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully game week 25 will be a good game week. So I will have another live tomorrow closer to the deadline. So it's a deadline stream tomorrow. So if anyone's interested, you're welcome to join tomorrow as well. Hopefully we will have a bit more information. Will be some press conferences tomorrow as well. So hopefully we can make the right decisions ahead of game week 25. Can you check out my team on a planner? Check out my team on a planner. like FPL team or something like that. Irish Peter, thanks for joining in. Are you ready for game week 25? Argyle, will you captain Gabriel or Rice next game week? It's really close between them at the moment. I'm probably leaning towards Rice. Things that all it takes for Gabriel to have a bad double game week is to concede a couple of goals. I think that Rice, of course, if Gabriel gets a goal, it will be a massive game week if he keeps a clean sheet as well. I think it's really hard choosing between Rice and Gabriel. I will make a decision after game week 25. I had some stats on the screen. Let's see if we can bring them back. Football and stuff, of course, if it was an easy way for me to put your team into a planner and have it on the screen, so I have a planner, but I need to log in. I have something called Plan FPL, but I can't really see any easy way for me to have a look at your team in Plan FPL at the moment because I'm logged in with my email and stuff like that. So I think the easiest way to have a look at your team on the screen is probably to head over to X, post a picture of your team selection, and we'll get it up on the screen. It's a 50-50 decision. How do you make those decisions? Gut instinct, data, toss a coin. Well, I think it's a combination of the first two. I don't really toss many coins when it comes to FPL decisions. Gut instinct, probably, and I take a look at the stats. And usually, when it comes to benching decisions, I have a look at bookies' odds as well. I can tell you my ID. Let's see if we can do this. So, triple captain next game week, Rice or Gabriel. I think at least it will be one of them. I'm leaning towards Rice. The thing is that it will be another double, most probably in game week 33. Looks like there will be a solid double in game week 36 as well. The thing is that I really like double game week 26 because every team, they have everything to fight for still. In double game week 36, the league might already be wrapped up. So this is why I'm leaning towards playing my triple captain in double game week 26. When do we start to discuss getting rid of Erling Haaland? If he blanks in the next two, yeah, probably I will start looking at options without Erling Haaland. I think that Man City, they actually have a pretty tough game in game week 25. So playing against Liverpool away, Liverpool, they are actually one of the teams with the best defensive stats. So if Erling Haaland blanks in game week 25, I'll probably give him at least one more chance. I might actually move him. I might actually do something like Erling Haaland to Ekitiki if he blanks in the next couple of games. So Man City in game week 25 playing against Liverpool. They have Fulham at home in game week 26, I will definitely play Erling Haaland in this game. Potentially in game week 27 against Liverpool, this might be a good time to get rid of Erling Haaland if you don't score in the next couple of game weeks. Philip Tomovich, thanks for joining in. Would you rather start Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Krupi Jr.? I heard Dominic Calvert-Lewin might be injured, but not sure how reliable it is. I'm planning on a bench boost. Well, Krupi Jr., he will definitely start. Calvert-Lewin, good fixture though at home against Nottingham Forest. I think when we consider that Calvert-Lewin, he is actually one of the key players for Leeds considering his goal contributions so far this season. So I think starting Dominic Calvert-Lewin probably is a good idea on Friday night. I think that if he's injured, he will probably be rested. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think I would start him. If you're bench boosting, probably not the best game week to bench boosts, to be honest. There will be a couple of double game weeks that can be really beneficial to use the bench boost chip. But I will make a video about my chip strategy. It will be out probably this weekend. So if you're watching this and if you still haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel to watch that one as well. I will make a wildcard and free hit video ahead of double game week 26 as well, so stay tuned. So I will have a live tomorrow as well ahead of closer to the deadline, so a deadline stream tomorrow afternoon. So if you're interested, join that one as well. Thanks all for joining in. It's been a lovely evening with a lot of good FPL questions and good chat this evening. So thanks all for joining in. So if you're watching this, as mentioned, if you're still not subscribed, please do. I would ignore Arteta. He is clueless. I know that we can't really trust Arteta, to be honest, but football and stuff, I actually went over to the Plan FPL page. Next time, we'll get your team ID and put it into this team ID and try to get your team up on the screen. I haven't really done this. I usually use Plan FPL on my phone with my team linked with my email, stuff like that. So we can definitely give this a go next time, but I have to go. So thanks all for joining in. Have a lovely evening. And if you can't join the deadline stream tomorrow, best of luck for game week 25 and have a lovely weekend. My team, really sorry, I have to go, but as mentioned, we will definitely do this next time. So hopefully you're able to join tomorrow. If not, I will have, as usual, the night before the deadline. I always have Q&As like this, so we'll give it a go next time. But thanks for showing interest. Thanks for joining in, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bruno Fernandes, he won the captain poll this 62 points, only 4% votes for Erling Haaland, Jared Bowen 12, other category got 21%. So Bruno Fernandes, he is the favorite. Jared Bowen, he is actually my captain at the moment. Will probably captain Bowen, might change my mind, but let's have a look at this on the deadline stream tomorrow. Thanks all for joining in. Hopefully I see